Assalamu alaikum and hello. You've tuned in to After Class and I'm your host, Waheeda Joosab. October. Well, the month of October is Mental Health Awareness Month and the 5th of October is World Teachers Day. So what better way to kick off the month of October than to to kick off a series that celebrates teachers. I'm just inviting our guests. So today we'll be chatting to Nashreen Sahib Khan. Nashreen is a teacher at East in Durban. She graduated with her Bachelor of Education from UKZN in 2011, and this means that Nashreen has just recently celebrated her 10th teacherversary. Nashreen says that teaching runs in her veins. She says teaching runs in her veins. Her late grandfather was a teacher, and her husband's a teacher, and she's married into a family of teachers as well. So we're just waiting for Nashreen to join us, and we'll begin. If you have any questions for either Nashreen or me, please use the comment section and we'll get to your questions at the very end. Let's see, technology, hey? Thank you, Humaira Sai, for joining us. Sumaya Arbi. Okay, so thank you for joining us. Nashreen will be joining us shortly. Here she is.
Welcome.
Wa alaikum salam, Nashreen. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, and you?
Alhamdulillah. I just wanted to say again, thank you, Jazakallah, for joining us and chatting to me on and being the first to kick off this series for teachers. Hopefully it'll benefit, teachers, whoever's watching, inshallah. So I did give a brief...
Jazakallah for having me.
Most welcome. So I did give our viewers a brief introduction of you. If there's anything else that you want to add or say about yourself, tell us about you.
I think you covered most of it. Also that I'm a mom to a 4-year-old energetic little tornado. And that's me.
Awesome. So let's jump into it then. Tell me, Nashreen, did you always want to be a teacher?
Well, I always wanted to be a teacher, but funnily enough, when I applied to university, I never applied to do teaching. My first option was actually food technology, and I actually studied that at DUT.
Okay.
But I didn't do it for a long time. I only did it for 1 semester. I didn't really enjoy it. So my mom told me, why not take some time out and, see what you really need to do, what you really want to do. So that's what I did. So one day, mom and I were talking and she told me, why don't you phone your primary school and see if they need help? You know, the old primary school that I used to attend.
Yes.
So I did exactly that. And to my luck, there was a teacher on leave. And when that teacher went on leave, they needed a teacher like ASAP. And you know the department, they take forever.
Yes.
So I got into teaching. I actually took a grade 4 class. I loved it. And that's when I applied to do my BA.
That's amazing. And I've spoken to so many teachers who also entered the industry quite by mistake and then fell in love with it and then just stuck around for years and years. And I'm glad to see one of them.
Once you get into it and you love it, you have a passion for it. It's something else.
Yes, so I've also mentioned to the viewers today that you recently celebrated your 10th teacherversary.
Oh yes, I was so excited about that, and I couldn't even believe it. I just looked at the date the other day. This was in May.
Yes.
I think it was the 11th of May. And I was like, oh my word, I can't even believe it. 10 years has gone so fast.
A decade in the industry. Congratulations on that, hey?
Jazakallah.
What would you say are your greatest accomplishments in these 10 years?
Well, there's been so many. The first being obtaining my degree.
Yeah.
That was a great accomplishment for anybody, I would say. The next accomplishment for me was getting married and getting my permanent job, buying my car, becoming a mom.
Yes.
And then most recently, it's celebrating my 10-year anniversary.
That's amazing. I love listening to everybody's journey, seeing how similar yet different, unique, you know, each person is. And the wide variety of backgrounds of teachers. It amazes me, seriously. What's a typical day in your life? What does a day look like for you?
Okay, so I wake up, have a bath, pray my salah, and then go into the kitchen, get the lunch ready, get the breakfast ready.
Yes.
Then wake up the little boy, get him ready because he's in grade RR. This year was his first year in school.
Awesome.
So my house is like a circus in the morning.
As
any other mother. Yeah, so we leave to school. I get to school, and now because of COVID, we start a bit early. We start about 7:15.
Right.
So from 7:15 to 7:30, we're screening the kids.
Yes.
So, you know, the normal questions and the temperature and all of that. Yeah, and then I start my day. Then when I get back, I love to have my 5-minute break.
Oh.
I just come in, put the kettle on. I need to have my tea and just sit down and enjoy the quietness.
Awesome. Yes, I absolutely relate.
And so after that, my boy comes home and the rest of the afternoon is his. He loves the outdoors, so I'm mostly in the garden with him. He loves fishing, so we go fishing a lot. Dad is a fisherman, so that rubbed onto him. He loves gardening, he loves the outdoors, and I don't like the outdoors at all, but I'm forced to love it. Yes,
for the kids.
Yeah, for them,
Yeah. Awesome.
It's amazing how you change for them, hey?
It is, huh? It's we become different people, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Who would you say is your teacher muse, the teacher who inspired you? Who inspires you?
Well, I don't only have one. I actually have 3.
Okay.
The first one being my primary school teacher. Her name was Miss Govinda.
Okay.
She took me in grade 1, 2, and 3.
Awesome.
I got so attached to her. I loved her. I wanted to be like her. I wanted to talk like her. I wanted to teach like her. And I took such a liking to her that because I used to finish my work like fast and then have nothing to do, I would sit down and I would copy down all her charts into my book.
Wow.
And she really took a liking to me as well. She had like a soft spot for me. And I think because of that 3 years, I really formed a bond with her.
Wow, okay.
She inspired me to start teaching. And that was the first one.
Right.
The second one was Candace Jeffrey. I think you spoke to her. She's in New Zealand now.
Yes.
Yeah, she was my mentor when I first got into Barracuda. So when I got into BPS, I was a new teacher. Yes. I wasn't teaching that long. So she was my mentor. She developed me. I observed so many of the lessons.
Wow.
She was a good all-rounder. She had her files up to date. She had discipline, but she was so soft-spoken. And she will never raise her voice to kids and stuff, but she still had that, you know, that good discipline.
Yes.
And the one thing that I admired about her was her admin. Her admin was immaculate.
Yes.
And normally you would find a teacher, if they're good in a lesson, you know, doing a lesson, they wouldn't be good in files, and if they're good in files, they wouldn't really be good, you know.
Yes.
But she was truly all-rounder.
Awesome, yeah.
And she later became my best friend.
we're hoping to chat to her on our series one of the days, hopefully.
Oh, great. That would be so nice.
Yes.
And then, yeah, the third one was my HOD.
Okay.
So at that time, Miss Mizra was my HOD. She's now the principal of BPS. She's been the principal for a few years now.
Right.
When I got there, she was the HOD of Foundation Phase. I actually got there in grade 3. So when I got there in grade 3, I was still learning the ropes, you know. I mean, being a new teacher, put in the deep end. She helped me so much. She developed me. She would actually take time after school to sit and you know, help me with my lessons and all of that. So yeah, she as well. Yeah, they were my muses.
That's amazing. Just, I'm going to pause just for the benefit of those who've joined us. If you do have any questions for me or for Nashreen, you can use the comment section and we'll get to the questions at the very end. So awesome, Nashreen. It's so lovely to hear that you've had inspiration from all around and you've been in the industry now 10 years. I was wondering what your teacher goals are. What are your goals?
Well, my teacher goals is to make learning fun. I want kids to enjoy what they're doing because with the grade that I'm teaching, they're still little. I mean, they're coming from 3 subjects into 10 subjects.
Yes.
And they're like, you know, what's going on? I mean, they don't even write in the right book sometimes.
I know. Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So I have to, like, you know, make sure that I got some sort of picture on each book.
Yes.
Just to show them, like, I'll say the balloon book. So the balloon book would be social science geography.
Yes.
Or the apple book will be social science history.
Right.
You know, stuff like that. And yeah, actually the other day, one of my teacher friends, she does grade 6 English.
Okay.
She actually sent me a screenshot of something very interesting. It was, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but this year, grade 4 to 7 never wrote an English exam. They did an English assignment.
Yes.
So my, in the grade 6s decided to do poems.
Okay.
So the kids wrote poems and they researched it, they researched authors and all of that. So this particular child, I had taken her in grade 3 and in grade 4. And she actually dedicated the poem to me. And she said that I was her inspiration for her love of poetry.
Wow.
So, I mean, something like that, it was amazing.
That's awesome. We have a lovely comment here from Anisa Hobbs who says, Nasreen, you're such an inspiration to all young moms who are juggling work, motherhood, and being an amazing wife. So proud of you. And I think that really, it just sums it all up for you, Nasreen. Well done. Juggling on. And I know sometimes there are too many balls to juggle, but somehow as women,
we just do it. We just do it. Yeah.
We just have to. So, you know, in your 10 years in the industry, I know the last 2 years were completely different from the first 8, right?
Yes, definitely, yeah.
So what are some of the challenges you've experienced as a teacher in general? So looking at like discipline, work environment, those kinds of things.
You know, when you're working in a government school, you're really faced with so many challenges. I mean, the first one being the class numbers. Our numbers are incredibly high. We're sitting with between 48 to 50 learners.
Right.
And with no assistance. We don't have any assistance. Well, during COVID, they did give us assistance, but that's not for each teacher. We had one per grade. And I would say there were so many bad things that came out of COVID, but the good thing for me was that in our school and every other school, we had to break the class into 2.
Yes.
So we had to divide them into 2. And then what our school did was we used the alternate day approach. So we had, we divided them into 2 groups, the red group and the green group.
Right.
And then one would come Monday, Wednesday, Friday. The other would come Tuesday and Thursday. And I found it so much easier because you could get through to them.
Yes.
You could observe them. You could teach them better. You could just pick out, you know, the very intelligent ones, the ones that need more nurturing, the very weak ones. And I really love that. And I'm really, really not looking forward to going back to that big class of chaos.
I've heard that a lot, eh? Most definitely.
Yeah.
These 18 months have taught us so much. It's taught us also how resilient we are, in that we can change according to,
Exactly.
just like that.
Oh, yes,
So
definitely.
you put.
And then also,
Hmm.
with discipline, it's helped immensely with discipline, because there's no time for the kids to give you a hard time, because you're on them. You are on them the entire time.
Yes, yes. Most definitely.
And then with our school as well, we're in a very poor area.
Hmm.
So before even starting the day, you need to look at the child, because some of them come with no breakfast
Yeah,
and bringing no lunch to school as well.
yeah.
Luckily, our school has a feeding program. So they do lunch every day, and we get the lunch early, so the kids can actually eat it for breakfast.
That's amazing. The lengths that schools go through just to get. Hello,
Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Just technology for you,
Yeah.
okay? I'm just saying the lengths that
Yeah.
schools go through just to get learning, make learning, accessible to the learners. It's
Yeah,
not
most
many
definitely.
people.
I mean, you can't just go in and start teaching. That's impossible.
You have to look at the at the child holistically. And
Yes, you
there are
have.
children who come in there, maybe, well, as you said, without breakfast or with no stationery, which is no fault of theirs,
Yeah, and some children, they actually come in late, and when you ask them, what happened? Why are you so late? They take not one bus or taxi.
Yes,
They take a few to get to school.
yes,
And then others as well, like when you look at some of the bigger girls,
yes,
they're actually taking care of the younger siblings.
yes.
So they're making their breakfast, they're making their lunch, they're getting them dressed, and they have
Mm-hmm.
so much of responsibility on them.
That's right. Or even from the areas they come from and their living in arrangements. I had a learner who said, ma'am, the communal bathroom was full and I had to wait my turn. Things like that we don't really
So bad.
take into account,
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, so yes, we've spoken about the impacts of COVID. You looked at the positives. Do you want to mention any negative impacts of COVID, or you think do you think that's very
obviously there's been so many. There's been so many negative.
Yeah.
One of it is lunch break. Lunch break it's not break anymore, because they have to stand on one spot
Yeah.
and eat on that spot, talk on that spot, play on that spot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad. It's sad to see that, like with my little boy, he started school during COVID.
Yes.
So he doesn't even know what a normal school is like.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
And it just takes away their childhood.
It does.
And the wearing of masks, it drives me crazy. Every minute, pick your mask, please pick your mask up.
Yeah.
They're always dropping it below their nose.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the sanitizing of hand, because we are government school, I don't know, the department really, sometimes they don't give us sanitizer. We have to be begging them for sanitizer. The school sometimes has to buy sanitizer. And my school is quite a big school. We got about 1,200 children.
Wow, okay.
So you're looking at cleaning agents, you're looking at sanitizer, you're looking at cleaners. Previously, we've only had 2 cleaners in our school. And because of COVID, the principal had to go now and employ using SGB.
And I'm sure also work-wise, having to fit in a whole year's syllabus in half a year, because they bring it day in and day out.
That is the worst thing ever. The completing of curriculum. It's impossible.
It is.
Because you only see some of the kids for 2 days a week. And if they get sick or something happens, you're not seeing them at all for 1 whole week.
Yeah.
So that
and
is
the family was sick, and then they have to quarantine, and then 10 days goes there, and then juggling.
And we had so many of that. Yeah, we had COVID cases, we have isolating, And those children, I felt so sorry for them, because now what do you do? How do you teach them 2
How
weeks
do
of
you
work?
really help them? Yeah.
How do you do it?
Hmm. Most definitely. So have you noticed then in the last 18 months or so, COVID time, have you noticed a change in your learners' attitudes or abilities in their work?
Yeah, I actually have. I mean, with the attitude, like with our kids, they mostly stay with relatives or with their grannies, or not most of them stay with their parents. Even if they do stay with their
Hmm.
parents, they work. So on the day that they don't come to school, we give them work to do. Like we give them their maths, we give them their English, just so that we're on par and we don't lose any time.
Yes.
But I find that the next day when I ask for the work's not done. And they say because no one was there to help them.
Hmm.
And with me, I try and give very simple work that they are able to do on their own. But still, I'm
Yes.
not getting it. Projects, assignments, assessments is becoming such a problem because they're not doing it.
Yeah, yeah. I think your concerns are similar all round. We find that now more than ever, the lack of support from home is showing because now is when we
Yeah.
need the support from home, and it's support that was never really there, but now that we need it, the cracks are really showing in the system.
But you don't really blame the parents, because most of the parents,
Upward.
they work hard labor jobs
Yes,
and long hours.
yes,
So when they come home, there's like no time to be sitting with their kids. I know that's not an excuse. I mean, that it shouldn't be an excuse. They should have someone to help them. But realistically, when you think about it, this is what's going on.
that's right. That's right. It's frustrating, I know. Been there, done that, and I've heard so many, as I've been chatting to teachers more and more, we hear that and so many other issues. But I think the important thing is to ask, how do we cope with it? So you, Nasreen, how do you cope with all of this?
Well, we drowning and we're trying to swim. That's the only way I can put it to you. We are not coping. We are not coping. We are trying our best to do everything in our power,
Yeah,
but it is extremely difficult.
yeah. So, okay, branching off from there, then, have you noticed a change then in your own mental health in recent months?
I've been an absolute stress ball, and I'm generally a panic mechanic. So this has just caused havoc. I've been suffering with panic attacks
Right.
because of the anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually started like taking Natura Rescue, all these herbal remedies just to calm me down.
Yeah.
Because I find that I can't even fall asleep at night.
Mm.
And because of this whole COVID thing, worrying about us getting it. Well, my husband and I are both vaccinated, but I worry more about my boy, because we both being teachers, we in contact with so many children, and he has more of a chance getting it from us than he has at school. So that's my worry. My husband actually made me laugh the other day, because he opened the cupboard in the kitchen and he's telling me, look at all this tea. Every calming tea under the sun. Chamomile this, chamomile that, rooibos this, rooibos that. And I mean, it's difficult. Really, really hard.
I think it's a conversation that has been itching to start for quite a while now. Even pre-COVID, the stress that teachers are under, nobody talks about that in a hurry outside of teacher
Yes,
circles. And this is one of
that's
the
so true.
reasons I wanted to start a series, and I chose October to do it because October is Mental Health Awareness Month, and then the 5th of October, Tuesday next week, is World Teachers Day. And so
Yes, yeah.
to put my two passions together, which one is postnatal mental health, but basically women's mental health, and then also teacher wellness. To marry the two of them, Alhamdulillah, I chose this to start a conversation, and I really do hope that we have people coming, coming up and saying, this needs to begin. There needs to be more conversation about this. There needs to be, speak more openly about it, maybe with higher powers. I mean, we are just laymen, we can just talk and we can get the word out there. But to spread the word and to say that this is a thing, we have to take care of the mental health of our teachers, because they're not, to increase retention, because there are so many teachers who now feel that they need to leave the field because of the stress,
That's so true. And you actually find the older ones not coping at all, eh?
Yeah.
I mean, we're still young, we managed to do it, but the older ones, they're just not coping.
That's right. And that's why I was so proud when I read that you've reached your 10-year anniversary. And we need people, we need teachers like you on board. And, so you need to take care of yourself, basically.
Oh, yes, most definitely, yeah.
So
that's why, like today, I feel like sleeping today and waking up on the 11th of October.
So Nashreen, what do you do to wind down then? After all of these frustrations and stresses, what do you do to wind down? Do you have any private rituals that you do after a long day of work?
With me, it's my quiet time. I love my quiet time, my me time. I just sit down with my cup of tea and just enjoy doing nothing. I just need to clear my mind. I love to do that. Then the next thing is Netflix, and I love Netflix. When my boy has gone to bed, I'm sitting and watching my series. I adore that. And then also walks on the beach, trips to the park, playing in the garden with my little boy. That I really find relaxing for me.
These are very good habits that you should keep. And I know you mentioned so many of them that work, with that increased mindfulness and being very aware. So you say you have your quiet time, so you're aware of your solitude, and it helps you to zone, out of the stress and zone into focusing just on
because as a teacher, you never have quiet time. Even in the morning in the shower, you're having a shower, but you're thinking now, there's this child that I really need to work on this. I think I need to focus on that today.
Yes.
And before you sleep, you're thinking about what he said and what she said. And sometimes even in your sleep, I mean, my husband would say, who is this child that you're talking about? But you have a full-on conversation with him.
Yes, and the break times at school are non-existent for teachers, right?
Oh, no. People think that we finish at 2:30 and we get home. That's wrong. That is so wrong. Our job never ends.
Yeah. We'd like to wrap up now. And to wrap up, Nashreen, do you have any parting advice that you'd give to our viewers?
Well, especially to young people wanting to do teaching, I would say only do it if you have a passion for it. I mean, obviously you're not going to do it for the money, but the passion is very important. You really need to love what you're doing. I mean, every other career is that as well, but with teaching, you're not only a teacher, you're a mother, you're a nurse, you're a police, you're a psychologist, and the list just goes on. So if you're planning on doing teaching, think about it nicely, and yeah, that's about it.
It's hard work, but it's most rewarding, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. Oh, most definitely.
Okay. We have a comment here from Sumaya Arbi who says, wow, Nash, I'm so glad you have accomplished your achievements. You're an inspiration to so many. So you have quite a few friends here, Nashreen. And here,
gee, I do.
We have Khadija Moti says, many parents haven't realized the full impact this has on teachers. Thank you for showing us the other side. So I think we're reaching a few people. Hopefully we'll be able to reach more. We have just one more. I have a question here. Do you believe, from Shabir Khan, do you believe that there needs to be more focus by the department on the foundation phase to be able to aid the learner in transition to high school and improvement in the matric results. So that's basically taking you from the bottom all the way to the top.
You know, the problem with that is they need to bring back the system where they say you pass until you pass on your own.
Right.
You know, the space thing is not working, because if you fail grade 1, you have to pass grade 2 and you have to pass grade 3. You cannot, you fail one time. And even if you fail grade 2, you still pass. You fail grade 3, you still pass, because you got to pass you're only allowed to fail one time in a phase.
Yes.
So that tells you why we are having the matric results that we are getting at the moment. I mean, there are some matriculants that actually can't read.
Yes. They've been put.
And then the education system is just spitting them out. So yeah, we have to look at all of that. So I mean, the department at the end of the day, for them it's just paperwork. Yeah. What's on paper? No one wants to know what's going on in class.
Yes, at grassroots level, most definitely. So
yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Nashreen. And thank you for all our viewers. There weren't so many today, but hopefully people would be able to access this video at a later time and watch it, and hopefully gain something from it. That's the most important thing.
Jazakallah so much for having me on your show and giving me this opportunity. I've never had an Insta live before, so this is the first time for me. When you spoke to me initially about this, I wasn't very keen, but it grew on me, and I said, you know what, let me just do it.
Out of your comfort zone, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, we have a comment from Tariq for real. He says, you and fellow teachers are an inspiration. Thank you for that, Tariq, and I'm sure Nashreen is also, you have a lot of fans, Nashreen. So feel free to our viewers, feel free to follow Nashreen on Instagram. She's Nashreen_Sahib_Khan. And if you know any teacher, if you would like to feature on an upcoming segment, then please do DM me. And I think I should give a shout out to my sister at Waheeda.Joosab, who's been here behind the scenes helping me out and passing me comments. And maybe you can give her a follow too. She's been dying for me to say that. Thanks so much, Nashreen. Hopefully we'll chat again soon.
Oh, okay.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam.